Where y'all at? Where y'all at, family? Voxty, what's happening, fam? Welcome. About to get it in. About to get it in. Just letting y'all come on in for a second. You see me hoodied up. But yeah, we about to get into it. It's about to go down. I just got done watching the clip one more time. Oh, my day has been wonderful, man. You know, I got to experience life. I got to chill with the family. I got to use my brain a little more by taking these notes. And yeah, I brought notes, like literal notes. Because this little clip we about to get into said a lot. It did say a lot. What's happening? Be easy. The man, the myth, and the myth. What's happening though? About to get into this clip. Did y'all check out the clip? The clip yet? It was in the description. Does anybody read those? But yeah, it's in the description. About to get into this little clip. If you did, you're gonna be able to keep up. If you didn't, you can go check that out afterwards. Because it was a pretty dope clip. Alright, you seen it? Cool. Alright, then we about to get into it. It's from a movie called Revolver. Jason Statham. The motherfucker that can whoop ass a lot. Where he's in this elevator and he pretty much goes to war with his ego. That's pretty much the sum of the scene, but we gonna break down the scene. But yeah, he's in this elevator and his ego's name is Macha or Maka. I can't remember, Macha or Maka. And you know, he's trying to get rid of this motherfucker and the ego's putting up a fight. So one of the family members asked me to break it down. He hit me on my Facebook. He inboxed me, asked me to break it down. So that's what the fuck I'm gonna do. I'm gonna break it down. So I'm glad somebody's seen it. All right, so let's go to the notes because I made sure I took my notes. All right, so Jason Statham's in the elevator and it stops at 13. All right, so right there's symbolism. The 13 has been tabooed to be unlucky. All right, but if you do your research, the 13 is not unlucky at all. And I know this personally because the 13 is my number. I see 13 everywhere, everywhere. And what's so trippy about that part is in the old house that we lived in that, you know, we just moved from, I lived on 13th Street and my address was 1361, right? So if you do that, you got it. All right, so boom. So the elevator stops at 13. They're showing you the symbolism of the taboo of the 13. That plays on the mental, the psyche game. That's a psyche game, right? As unlucky, it's actually lucky. The one being the first, or the primordial waters, where everything is birthed. Now we're getting into a little bit of alchemy. The one being the primordial substance, the primordial waters. The three being the trinity of the primordial waters, or the darkness, the light, and the carbon, the makeup of man that's me, which would be represented as the triangle, the circle, and the square. All right? As well as the elevator represents the womb. You can find that at the root of any occultic science. The elevator represents a portal, or the womb, the woman, the womb, or the primordial darkness, the waters, the primordial waters, the primordial womb. The elevator goes dark, showing the representation of the primordial darkness, which is the elevator acts as a ladder. You can ascend to your Godhead, or you can descend to your lower self. So the representation in the first like 5-10 seconds of the clip is telling you a whole bunch of subliminal symbolism, right? So then what happens is the ego starts talking to the observer. Right, it's getting deeper. Look, can't show you all of them, but they're scribbled everywhere because the shit, I just kept seeing shit. Okay, so check this out. Before I get into the ego start tripping on Jason. If you look into the the the, the ego's name, it's Maka or Macha. That's a Celtic or Celtic goddess of war that is tied to the lands, right? Maka. Check this out. She's the goddess of war. In the scene, he's having a mental war between himself and the ego. This is Maka. Maka is also tied to the land. Now, when we get into alchemy, alchemy is man, the carbon, the man, right? So the goddess is the goddess of war, victory, defeat in the battlefield, the mental warfare, right? That's tied to the land. In alchemy, the land is man. And Jason Statham is standing inside the womb as the man, the carbon within the light and the darkness. So check that out, right? The symbolism is crazy. So also, Maka or Macha, whatever, however you want to pronounce it, I'll probably pronounce them both ways each time just in case. But Macha or Maka is a sister of three goddesses, right? Called the Morrigan, war, death, victory. I just went over that, right? But the three pillars can be found behind Jason Statham in that elevator. If you watch that clip again, you'll see three pillars behind him, representing Maka and her two sisters, which makes the three pillars. As well, alchemically, three, the Trinity, Tesla even says, if you knew the power of threes, you'd unlock the keys to the universe. The threes, the light, the darkness, and the man. He's in an elevator that was light, that became darkness, and he's the man or the carbon within. So even the name symbolism is crazy because Maka has three sisters. You see the three pillars behind him, and he's having a mental warfare. Man being him, or land, the tying to the land being him. All right. So check this out. Make sure I get all my shit down so we can get into that. So then what happens is Maka or the ego starts talking to the observer, and I call him the observer because he's not who he thinks he is. That's why he's having this battle with the ego. He's trying to submit this ego. Okay, so he's the observer talking to the ego, the false core, or the observer, the I am. All right, and if you're paying attention, the ego is emotional as fuck. Motherfucker gets angry, he gets scared, he starts panicking, he tries to bully, he tries to persuade. And he makes a statement where he says, we're a team. Okay, we're a team. This is the battle, the duality, the ego versus the observer. We're a team. Okay, you getting what I'm saying? Observer, being Jason, realizing and accepting, if you watch him, he starts to accept him. I know who you are. He's breaking the hold of the ego. That's why this motherfucker starts tripping the fuck out. Maka is tripping the fuck out. Now, remind you, Maka deals with the death, the victory, the war, the battlefield, the winners, the whole war, and he's having mental warfare. Jason, he starts to accept him. He says, "I know who you are." The ego says, "Do you know life without me?" No, it doesn't exist. The ego will die, right? That's what that means. Do you know life without me? No. Because I've been with you I've been here. I am you. I am the perception you think you are of you. You are not who you think you are. You are who I make you to be because you allow me to be. You see what I'm saying? So when he says, do you know life without me? Literally, you don't. Most people don't because we are who we think we are. But this is how you break down your ego. You are everything you think you are. You are not. So from there, you have to look at who you think you are and break that down. And we can get into that. Let me get something to drink. So, the ego is demanding, controlling it. Because you cannot physically be like, here's my ego. You can't do that. So it's not something that you can necessarily physically, visually prove. Even though I am physical, I am visual, and you can see the reflection of my ego and how I am in the actions and everything. I can't physically, here's ego, right? So we have to call it. The ego starts demanding, it's controlling. It false controls our thoughts, our emotions, etc. The observer, Jason Statham, if you look, once he's having this argument, right, and he tries to, the ego's playing with him. The ego, it's all mental. He kills himself, or you think he kills the ego, representing him killing the ego. But then the motherfucker pops right back up, and that's because you cannot kill your ego. The ego is a part of you. Okay, so when he tried to kill his ego, and the motherfucker popped right up, it was telling you these movies are deep. If you really sit back and watch, these movies are deep. It was telling you you can't kill your ego. Now we can. The only thing you can do is what he did. The only thing you can do is accept it. By accepting it, you kill the power it holds over you. You see what I'm saying? It takes away the power of it. It feeds on you. It's like a parasite. The ego is a part of you. Don't get it twisted. But you can only submit it. You can't kill it. Excuse me. You just, by him accepting it, that's when you see the ego die. That's when you see the lights flicker back on from darkness to light. Okay, symbolism. The observers, Jason, right. Checking everything I said, we're going to go right back over all this. Jason Statham, eyes are closed and he's relaxed. Right, you can only submit it. That's what I mean, submit it. You can't get rid of it. Jason Statham, his eyes are closed, he's relaxed, representing self-reflection, right? You have to self-reflect. God is, everything that we think is separate is a part of all. And this is what this is dealing with. And it just so happens to even represent all his mind. But when we say, how are we separate from God, right? Or what we perceive to be, even that is a part, because all encompasses all. It's just when God self-reflects on itself, it becomes itself. That was too much right there. All right, so boom. Where was I at? Boom. All right, so the lights flicker back on because he's submitted, he's accepted, he's realized, he's seen, he knows. I am that I am. And by doing so, the ego, you kill the ego. But there's steps you can take, and like I said, I brought not only the notes for this movie review clip, but I brought my own. This is my Bible. This is all my work in one book. This whole thing is filled with notes, going down to psychology, to everything, to pretty much everything. So I brought everything because we got to understand the symbolism of what we just seen when we watched that clip. Then the lights come back on. And if you pay attention and go back, you'll see the pillars. You'll see the symbolism of the pillars, even the symbolism of the name Maka, her three sisters, war, victory, death, defeat on the battlefield, dealing with a mental warfare. This clip is dealing with a mental war. So boom, the lights click back on. He gets out the motherfucking elevator at peace, fully accepted. He's not Jason Statham. He's not the father at home. He is just what he is, right? That's why he comes out the elevator at peace, right? And the lights come on from darkness to the light that created man. This is religion. This is occultic. And you see Ray Liotta, right? Jason Statham comes out the motherfucking damn, that's crazy. How did that happen? Okay, anyway, my shit just said two people was viewing, two people liked it. Then it said nobody was viewing, nobody liked it. That's just crazy. Anyway, you see Ray Liotta, and he got the gun. He's standing there in his drawers looking dumb as fuck. But he's standing there with the gun trying to intimidate this motherfucker, right? And you keep hearing him saying, fear me. I believe he kept saying, fear me. Trips to go to sleep, but wakes up many times strong. You ever talk to I am being. Hold on, I'm gonna get to that. And let me just finish off this scene. So Ray Liotta's, he's standing there with the gun in his drawers, and he keeps saying, fear me. And something else along those lines, but he kept saying, fear me. I remember that clip, or that piece. kept saying, "Fear me, fear me, fear me." And Jason Statham was at one, right? At peace. He was straight. He was cool, right? And he pretty much just walked right past him, and Ray Liotta standing there and shit, right? Now, what that was, listen, all is all. All is ego. In this situation, in this movie clip, you're speaking on ego. Ray Liotta was the same ego he was at war with inside the womb or inside the elevator. It was a reflection of him, his ego. That was the same reflection of his ego. That's why he was standing there like that. Now, you could put the whole movie storyline back there and say, that's why. We're talking the symbolism. That was the reflection of the ego reflecting back upon self, the God reflecting upon itself. And that's what you're going to get. That was symbolism of, even though you submit your ego, the ego still exists. You see what I'm saying? So that was the subliminal message that was for that scene, and he still conquered it because he was accepted. He had accepted everything. Like, okay, it's that simple. I am that I am, and that's the accepting of everything, whatever it is. But you got to understand it first. So yeah, that was the motherfucking breakdown of the movie. I mean, once again, the three pillars behind Jason Statham was Maka, Macha, the Celtic goddess, and her two sisters, making it three, or the Trinity, which is what you've seen of the darkness. From the darkness, God created light, the lights, which impregnated the earth and created man. That was it right there, which is alchemy, or or the square circle triangle. Okay, the Trinity of the sisters, the elevator being the womb or the primordial darkness, where light and darkness birth man, which he's standing in the light and the darkness. Uh, I'm trying to remember everything that was in the scenes, but yeah, it's all there. It's all there. Him trying to kill the motherfucker, you can't. You could just admit it. Everything was in there for you to see. But this is what we refer to, or what has been referred to as the deaf, dumb, and blind. Blind. Even though you can see, you cannot actually see because you have to be able to see signs, symbols, because everything is symbols. These letters are symbols. If I took away these letters, this is a symbol. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you see. That's what they mean by deaf, dumb, and blind. Blind, not being able to see properly. Deaf, not being able to hear properly. Like when people say, this is just for example purpose on, from now on, you have to unknow what you think you know and accept new information. You have to be able to ascend mentally. So when they say blind, you can't see properly, right? But you can see properly because you know what this symbolizes. You know what each letter symbolizes, but you don't know each letter. Like A, where the origins come from, you got to know they mean something. The letters always meant something historically. Deaf, not being able to hear right. So when people say, and this goes into tying into saying black people are a minority. This is just for reference base. Minority simply means infant minded. Legally, lawfully speaking, it means infant minded. So when people are categorizing themselves as minorities, they're saying that they're infant minded. They can't take up for themselves. They can't do for themselves. And on top of that, speaking deaf, dumb, don't know how to speak right, is when you use the wrong words. The wrong words when you speak are vital because vibration, tones, and frequencies play part when they're taken in and how they're processed. So if I say, I'm about to go build a building, motherfuckers be like, if you built it, why is it still called a building? It's simple shit, like, right? So what we gonna call it? Structure. Deaf, dumb, and blind. A lot of our shit is retarded. So that was the motherfucking the breakdown by your man King of the movie Revolver, the movie scene where he's at war with his ego. Everything was symbolic in that entire scene. It was only 3 minutes. The ego cannot be killed. Ego is, let's get into that. Have I ever talked to the I am being? Was a question I was asked. Yeah, absolutely. But was it for a long period of time? No, because I'm still breaking down my ego all the time. I practice doing this, and that's what we're about to get into. There's ways to expose the ego to the observer. That way, you can submit that motherfucker and become the I am that you are. You see what I'm saying? But yeah. But I'm not at that point of balance. If you get what I'm trying to tell you, to where my ego is not a part of me. Which, after breaking this down, we understand it'll never not be a part of me. But from time to time, you got to check it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm at that. I'm still there. I'm still checking. I'm like, oh, that was ego. Oh, that was ego. Okay, I understand that. Gotcha. So that's how it happens for me. Like shit'll happen to where I catch my ego trying to come back. Right. For instance, uh, social media. I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook. I wouldn't say I'm on Facebook a lot. I'm on YouTube way more. I watch a lot of streams. Yeah, all is all. It's that simple. And it wasn't the mushrooms, like it wasn't. It was already in here. It's already here. It's called the subconscious. The subconscious stores more information than the conscious, because we're based off subconscious. We just do shit. We 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 stand up to piss as men, right? I'm just using simple examples. We stand up to piss as men. We could sit down, but it's so draw built into us as men to stand to piss that we stand to piss. So it's just become natural, right? So what did I say? And how they put fit. Yeah, they're amplifiers, exactly. I agree. And how they put a figure. Absolutely. It's a power play. Then you once you look at how they put this some like the Baphomet, right? I'm not saying it's good or bad. I see the symbology in it. It's been tabooed as bad. But just hear this out, because it is to build on what you just said. That's a symbol that's been promoted as bad. Okay, I don't do petty arguments like that. This is part of the becoming the I am. Okay, so what? All right, you think it's good? You think it's bad? All right, that's dope. Anyway, there's symbology in it. I know the symbology of the symbols. I can read the symbols. I can read symbols. So I don't look at it as bad or good energy. That look at it for what it's saying. What does it say? If you're looking at it from the ego, you're gonna see the negative in it, right? Once you see it from a different perspective, other than the observer through the ego, you'll see what you need to see. You'll get the information out of it. So it deals with elements. That deals with man. And like I could, if I could pull it up. Matter of fact, I got you. This is just for example's sake. But they have to do these things because it's a power move. Lower self energies are so easy to take control of, because it's been programmed into us. Who, when I say us, I'm talking about our egos, which majority of people are ran by. It latches onto that ego. That ego is nothing but that bullshit. And if you look at the world, we live in a hypersexualized society. We live in a racist society. I don't know where everybody lives, but I'm talking about the landmass they call America, the corporation. I'm pretty sure there's bullshit everywhere. I'm not saying it ain't. So boom, if you have a bunch of lower self energies that you can simply just control by propagating the right bullshit, it's easy to have the power. When motherfuckers know better and ain't really into bullshit, Them the motherfuckers they condemn. Them the motherfuckers they shun to the society. Like, not out of ego. I get I get the bullshit because I know some shit. And I don't do what the masses do. Because we need thinkers. We need motherfuckers who ain't gonna go in the little army line. We need motherfuckers going this way instead of everybody. You see? Like, so it's all ego. It's played on ego. As long as you can manipulate the ego, the mind, the body follows the mind. You see what I'm saying? So this is why even in this clip, this short clip, the subliminal messaging is hitting the subconscious. The conscious is not aware that the subconscious is always at work. Always. Right? Always. So when you daydream, imagine, whatever the fuck you're doing, that's subconscious work. So I would only assume that the shrooms would amplify that, like you said. And I agree, because it makes sense. It's just logical. That it just, you know what I'm saying? So this is the importance of motherfuckers like us sit here building on information like this. Like this shit right here. This symbolism all through that shit. You know where I got that? The Goodwill for $3. I thought that was fucking dope. But back to this, it's all symbolic of the ego. Speaking of daydreaming, have you tried training it? I have for a short extent of time. I'm not going to even sit here like I really sat and put in real lengthy work into doing so. So yes, but not really. You know, I don't know. It's just I've been on this path for so long of understanding. I've been on this path for so long, studying. All I do is study. Like I said, this is all my knowledge contained into it. This book is going to come with pictures. Every page is filled with something dealing with history, economics, like anything is in this book. Astrology, numerology, alchemy, all my shit is in that shit. But I do practice from time to time meditation, which I want to do more of. It's just I'm a student of nature. I'm a student of knowledge. That way, when people ask me to do stuff like this, I'm able to, because I put in the work to be able to. And dealing with all this, you got to practice what you preach. I'm never going to be on here, I'm never ever going to come on here and tell you should eat right while I drink my Pepsi. I'm not going to condemn you for doing shit that I do. So when I say, yo, this is shit, that clip, that scene was alchemy. That shit was metaphysics. That shit was psychology. I mean that because I know that. I'll tell you the references. Look up Maka, the Celtic goddess, her three sisters, the three pillars behind Jason Statham. How the ego was talking and acting. That's us. The ego is us, or what we think we are. So the panic, the anger, the controlling, the submission, the passive aggressive, that's all a part of us. That's something, that's each principle of us or characteristic of us. It wasn't until the motherfucker understood that, okay, that's all a part of me. I don't have to focus in on one, but all is all. And I am of that all. I am that all. Then you seen that motherfucking ego submit. He submitted. It's like, I'm gonna do it. Because he knows that's my emotional attachment. Oh God, let me get it. Jason was like, nah, fuck all that. Go ahead, do yourself. And he did himself and popped back up. Like, oh, it didn't work. He didn't. Shit. And then he's like, all right, enough playing with you. I am. And he got out of there. You see what I'm saying? You can submit the ego. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. Or tell you what I'm talking about, because if I pull this on the screen, it'd be just bright as fuck. You see what I'm saying? I got to go through the book. I call it my Bible, but you can call it whatever you want. A Bible is nothing but a book. Where I get into the psychology of things. All right, here we go. But I could show you. I hope it pops up. It's Quantum Psychology Notes Part 1. And they go all the way up to 6. And even here in the description of quantum psychology, that's the book. That's what you do. You go to Google, and don't ever just go off your first shit on Google. Google is not, don't do that. Don't be a Wikipedia person. I hate those people. But for the books, you go to Google and you type in quantum psychology, PDF, right? And it's like you can download the book. So quantum psychology, PDF. You download Grimoire. And we speak spells in our what? Our grammar. There you go. So quantum psychology PDF, download it, and you can find the information I'm speaking on in there. And as well, I have a book of references. I have a book of books I've read that I can refer. I'm not about to do all that shit. I got a video. It's an old video on nothing but books. Every book pops up. Just go watch the video, pause that shit, write it down, download it. I got a whole video on books that are references for anything you want from. It's just a bunch of shit. So, even in the quantum psychology, it gets into the alchemy by stating there is only one substance, primordial waters. Remember these terms, the circle. The circle is the womb, the portal, the elevator, okay? So that is, immediately it tells you there's only one substance. Question everything, do not believe in anything. In order to find out who you are, you must find out who you are not. So I'm giving you steps, simple steps to break down the ego. Not kill it, not get rid of it. You're not going to get rid of it. I'm just saying that for the people who's going to watch this later. I appreciate the family that's in here. I really do. What y'all think? Am I handling business? Let me know something. But in order to find out who you are, you must find out who you are not. These are simple steps you could take. I just want to give you the simple shit. I'm not about to go through every note. So that just, the false self, here we go. This is what I wanted to tell you about that scene. But I wanted to break down my notes first. So, the false self, or who you think you are, right? You're not John Doe. You're not Jane Doe. You're not that. That's a name. That's not you. Okay? The false self is who you attempt to hide, heal, or compensate for. The false core. The false core is and I've said this in a couple different videos, like everything I tell y'all, I experience and I practice. The false core is the concept, the one assumption you hold about yourself, who you think you are. Okay? There's no individual, separate soul which transmigrates or incarnates from life to lifetime. Why? Because there's only one substance. Therefore, no separate individual soul or self. And I've said this plenty of times. Just one soul or one substance. Anything you think you are not. Anything you imagine or think yourself to be, you are beyond. The idea when you conclude about a thing or not a thing you are referring to. This is you. You are all things. You understand this? There's no separation of me from you, from this fucking book I'm holding. There's no separation. We just separate ourselves from it because we're dealing with ego. Now, I was talking to my dude True. He has a YouTube channel that I recommend everybody go sub to immediately. It's True Life Stories. And on this channel, he dig deep into his experiences. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. Just go check him out. His name is True Life Stories. It's a dope brother, man. Check him out. But he was speaking on. Well, we were all speaking on uh, concepts of God to summarize the conversation, to nutshell the conversation. And I told him, or told everybody we were speaking to, and I didn't really tell them. We were speaking, so I spoke because I can't tell you nothing. But I told them the closest thing that we can understand to visually see that has the concept of God or oneness or I am is a newborn baby. Now, this is because they don't have that ego yet. They just are. When you see a baby, the baby just is. It just is. It's not until about 5 to 12 months. This is what I was telling them, but I'm getting specifically what I was saying. It's not between 5 to 12 months that the infant has that separation from their mother and realizes they are separate from their mother, or to speak in a more understanding way that pertains to the topic, a separation from God. Because as far as that baby knew, it was one with the Creator. There was no, yeah, because True, he talks a lot of, he hits on a lot of things I have a deep understanding on. So when I'm dealing with somebody who's experiencing the experiences that I've experienced, that was crazy. It's going to come out to a wonderful build of wisdom, a wise dome, knowledge. It's going to come out like that. So I enjoy building with True and the fam. You feel me? And it is a win lose at some points because it's 24/7. The ego is not like I'm gonna come see you later or something. It's like no, I'm I'm here the whole time, just like in the motherfucking movie clip. That motherfucker said, "I'm here all the time," or something to that extent. I'm here all the time. That's right. So this is what we're talking about. I'm not gonna go through this, but examples of the false core or the false self. This is an example of the ego. I am worthless would be the example. Prove, and the consequence of that is I would have to prove that I'm not worthless and act as if I'm valuable or have worth. That's still ego, because I'm dealing with my ego with my ego. You see what I'm saying? That's all ego. That's false self, false core. Once the false core, false self is realized, we begin to be the essence, the I am, or just be, what you seen in the clip. Once he understood, okay, it's that simple. Okay, what can you do with that? Accept it. Word spells in our grimoire. I mean our grammar. The ego is a compulsive, obsessive in nature, wasn't it? In the clip, and isn't it within all ourselves? It has to control. That's all it is, to control what you think you are, what you are not. You are just done right there. So we're just going over this. So now, please watch that clip again with this information. This information. That sounded like I said disinformation. So boom, let's talk about how to break down the ego. Submit the ego. Can't kill it. Got to say it again because it was hard for me to comprehend too. Acknowledge the false core exists. Notice where it is in your body. Is it in your chest, your heart? Where's that coming from? You have to sit back and reflect on yourself, which I've said plenty of times as well. Observe it, have it, step into it, be it, then step out and observe it. First understand it, accept it, be it, and then see how that motherfucker operates. Right? The key is not to try to get rid of it. If you try to get rid of it, you're back in the false self, because now you're trying to get rid of it through your ego nonetheless. So just accept it. That's how you do. You just accept it. Create it a few times. Oh man, I got deep with it. My bad. But experience it. Let it happen. Let it happen. See, this is about being in tune. Don't let it be in control. You have to understand how to control it, not kill it. You can't. Got to keep saying that. Stay in the I am, the be, just the be, without using your thoughts, emotions, or memories. Because to be, you have to let go of all things. It comes back to the all. Every time we talk, it comes back to the all. So the false core destruction process is acknowledge the false core, the false self, own it, unown it, get that it's not you, dismantle it, and understand it and accept it. And that's it. And it comes through trauma, dealing with trauma. It deals with fear, how I got the notes on, and I did a video on how fear affects people. It's part of the ego, so I got notes on all of it. And so I'm not gonna do. That's a whole nother thing. That's it. Once you learn it, once you just accept that you are ego and ego is you, but you got to be careful doing that because if you're trying it from an egotistical way, like I said, if I feel like I'm worthless and then to compensate for that, I go try to prove that I'm not worthless. See how that comes back to ego? How that even started from ego and came and reversed back to ego. So we just got to be careful, family. That's why for majority of my videos, I keep it peaceful. I try to bring positivity, and it's important. It's very important because it plays against the ego. The ego is the controller. He wants to control. He don't like all that, or it don't like all that. Excuse me. We just have to be. We are. God is. Just be you. But you got to know who you are by sitting down and breaking down you. If you feel, just using this as an example, whatever yours is, you have to reflect on it. But just as an example, I am worthless. If that's mine, why am I worthless? What makes me worthless? Well, I can't help all my friends like I want to and my family. What's so bad about that? Well, then people think that I can't do anything. What's so bad about that? And you go until you finally reach the bottom. Now you have broken or understood or got the opportunity to understand a reflection of yourself. I am a reflection of you by you, and vice versa. By you allowing me into your reality, it goes both ways. You see what I'm saying? I so happen to see this movie clip and use this movie clip on the Truth Family Facebook page, and I made it a part of somebody's reality where it hit home, kind of. And then in turn, they asked me to do a video. So we're just reflections of every action has a reaction. Allow my reality to yours and vice versa. Understand we all one. That shit have come together like motherfucking jail. You feel me? Straight up. So that was my movie breakdown. That was my build with my family. Appreciate the building. Any questions? Anything y'all want to add to the build? We could keep going on this. You know what I'm saying? Alchemy is fucking crazy. I just want to throw that out there. Those three pillars could represent so many different things, but it mainly represents. I was stuck on the pillars and how it connected with his ego. You see what I'm saying? Because most people want to look up the ego for real. Like, who's going to look up the character of the ego? They put that in there for a reason. Speaking symbols, because he had to say the name of the ego, I believe. And what the ego represents, that's all power, frequency, and energy that they're just subliminally putting in our subconscious. So it's important to really sit down, do some studying, do some checking out, look into what the fuck you're allowing the portals to the soul accept. The El Chem, L. There's the elements, El being the god of light, that play elemental numbers, right? The elements on the numerological chart. Nu being the triple darkness, Nu being the neutron, L being the electron. We give the electricity to the womb, the sperm, and the egg meet and clash, and there's a light. That's your Big Bang theory. Like, we can get into a bunch of shit. Like, that's why I always ask y'all to leave comments on what you want to talk about, because literally 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna leave that small window open. 9 times out of 10, I know something about something that we can build on at least. You feel me? So when it comes back to the movie, look at all the symbolism in that movie clip. Because I think that's a dope movie clip. I used that movie clip to end all my watch parties on the DMT, the motherfucking Truth Family Facebook page. Every Friday I do these things. So if you can find me on Facebook, and I got all my information on the about part of my YouTube channel, you know what I'm saying? Find me on Facebook, inbox me, let me know who you are. I'll accept you as a friend. And you can come and get in this fucking Truth Family page because every Friday I put knowledge out there. I do a whole watch party of nothing but videos of knowledge. And I end it with this clip we're talking about now because that clip, I was putting that out there for somebody to get, to understand, yo, look, there's symbology going on. This 3-minute clip got like, what, an hour's worth of conversation in it. Oh, I know. Absolutely. I can go deeper than just the metaphysics of it. Like I said, I can go to the alchemy of it, the deep alchemy. We just speaking on the subsurface of that shit for real. When I'm dealing with the simple, new primordial water, when we speak, that's basic level. But I've been studying heavy for quite some time. I'm not gonna say super duper long, but when I study something, like literally, I study that shit. I sit there every day when I have time, and that's all I'm doing all day. You see me in my Bible. This is my Bible, and I don't want nobody. You see, it said Kings do this Bible, and people look at me weird when they come over and they read that. People look at me weird when they see a lot of shit I do to God, when I wear my swastikas and shit. But this is a Bible. A Bible is nothing but a journal, a book. Anybody could write a Bible, literally, and everybody has. And I suggest people do that. Quick thoughts, deep thoughts, whether you know if they make sense or not, write it down. Because now you're forming a whole different reality through signs and symbols, or what we can call hieroglyphs still, because each letter has a representation. We just don't know the back end of it. I am the essence, and when you get into the quantum psychology, the I am is the essence. The I am is the all. The primordial waters, the triple blackness, the infinite waters of the black womb. That's the alchemy. That's exactly what you just said, pretty much. Man, y'all so dope. I just want y'all to know how dope y'all are, man. I just want y'all to know how dope. This is a build. This is what me and the partners do when we do come together. We speak on knowledge. Like, if you knew how powerful and I use these terms loosely, a physical being, if you knew how powerful you were and how deep it really is, you'd understand the I am. You'd understand it. Maybe you wouldn't be able to be it, but you'd be able to understand it. When you understand ain't no difference, ain't no nothing, and even nothing is something by being nothing, which is all, still a part of the all. When you understood that, my energy that I'm giving out, this phone is giving out, this light bulb, it's different frequencies, and you're focused on this screen. That focus carries energy. That energy creates matter. That's the God in you. That's the God in you, man. That's the light out of the darkness. The light, the spark. Just to think within the darkness. It's dark in here. Ain't no lights in here other than the sparks, which is you. The darkness, the light creates what? The man. So you're much greater than you may know, but you may only know what the ego is telling you you know. And that's the importance of studying. That's the importance of asking questions. Ain't no such thing as a dumb question. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. This motherfucker's dope. This shit and this fucking shit. I said shit, fucking shit. Goddamn. Look at that. Well, yeah, there's symbolism in there too, man. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. There's a lot of shit like that. There's a lot of shit in daily life that we look at and we separate ourselves from. Seven deadly sins of man. See, check this out. Where is it? Hold up. I think I have something on that I just was getting into. Yo, I'm gonna break this shit down one day for you. I'm gonna just say this before I do. There's a lot of shit we just don't know. So check it out. You said the seven deadly sins. Right, right. The seven deadly sins. So check this out. God created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh, right? Right. In alchemy, it's called turning lead into gold. In Indian or India culture, I don't know which one I should say. Correct me, yeah. Correct me yourself by yourself. But they have Kundalini, right? There's 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 notes, 7 days of the week. It's called turning lead into gold. No, shit ain't bad at all. So the 7 deadly sins, right? If we were to look, I'm gonna rewrite this and I'm gonna come back to that. But just hear me out. We're gonna do the days of the week. There's 7 days in a week. There's 7 chakras, right? There's 7 keys, 7 notes, right? Just hear me out. So we're gonna start with. We're only gonna do the week, the days of the week. We're only gonna do the days of the week. Then I'm gonna get on to my shit. But check this out, right? I can already tell you already understand the storyline. But check this out. So Sunday, the week starts with Monday. Monday, the moon day, or silver, right? So keep count. That's what. Tuesday being iron, Wednesday quicksilver, Thursday tin, Friday copper, Saturday is lead, turning lead into gold, right? God created the world in 6 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Saturday, Saturn day, Satan day. All right, check me out. Now this is not something I'm about to really get into a build with. I'm trying to spark the curiosity to make you study if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about for real. But it's cool, right? On Sunday, the 7th day, he rested, is Sunday, which is gold. This is turning Saturday into Sunday. Just speak it over the weeks. Just speak it over the weeks. Or the week. So this is what you want to get into. This is where they get this bullshit, 7 sins, that bullshit from. Listen, the only sin, first of all, if you go to my video called Language and the Gods, you'll see the reference. Sin is a moon god. On top of that, the only true sin is ignorance. Because check this out, and I'm going to show you an example of why. Turning lead into gold, the week's Sunday, God rested on the Sunday. But anyway, this is why that sin, that bullshit. Religiously, and I'm not pointing out any religion, I'm just saying religiously. You can do that yourself. Even babies are born in sin. What the fuck did a baby do? Nothing, right? We know. And people will say the sin of the mother, and the fuck out of here. The baby has sinned according to some religion. Time out. So what sin does that baby have? Let's look at it. Let's just look at it. Ignorance, or what people would deem as ignorance. Actually, it's the I am that we need to be looking for, but for conversation's sake, ignorance. It doesn't know shit. Don't know nothing. This is a baby. It's just a little baby, that's all. So the only real sin is ignorance. Where you get your sins and where you get some, very scarce, a couple commandments from is ma'at. 42 negative confessions of ma'at. This is where you get your sins from. This is where you get your commandments from. This is where the concept comes from. Understand that when we're dealing with commandments, that's modern religion in the aspect of quote unquote time, right? There's shit that predates religion in general by millions of years. So the first connection to the whole commandment shit and sin shit is ma'at. So look into 42 laws of ma'at. Simply, you can do that and it'll probably pop up. So boom, you have. I could have went deeper into that, but I kind of want to make that a whole stream. So we gonna do that. That was dope. It of what? What word did you use? Being, just being. You see what I'm saying? It comes back to just being, just be. I got a lot of shit we could talk about, bro. But I keep saying that because I got to remind myself I got shit to handle. So I'm about to cut this down. I just, I just wanted to build with y'all because I knew that scene wasn't gonna take too much time, but I could really break that bitch down. Did I break that shit down? Yes or no? Can I get a just a response real quick? I'll wait because I'm comfortable. Did I break it down, or did I do well? Was that acceptable? Do I get a passing grade? Hey, good job. I got a good job. Make my day. Oh, thanks, man. Hell yeah, I got 2 thumbs up. Actually, I got 4. I'm in this bitch. We about to break the 5 marker because when I'm done, I'm gonna hit the like on my own shit. Beast. I don't give a fuck. But anyway, so uh, look into psychology, quantum psychology. Get into metaphysics. Like metaphysics was my first grade, right? My preschool, my preschool was history. My kindergarten was law, and I just elevated from there. So look into all that. If y'all want references, I have a video that deals with I think like 50, like up to like 50 something books that I've read, which ain't really all my books that I've read. But I give a lot of sources in that book. So yeah, I put the videos out there, the references. Like that's the thing I see a lot, and maybe that's why I treat my channel like I do, because I see a lot of people who will say some shit and just say some shit. Won't give you a reference, not even a source. There's a difference between a primary source and a secondary source. You feel me? If I ask you what a primary source is for religion, you give me the Bible. That's a secondary source. See what I'm saying? Because somebody wrote that, so that's not a primary. Now the shit I'm giving y'all are all the primaries, all the books from the experiencers, not just somebody who's reflecting on it. Right? I hate that, and that's why I don't conversate with people a lot. I really don't. I really don't, because I'm the type to hear you speak and really hear you speak. But then if you say something that is coming from opinion based as factual, I have to stop the conversation. I have to stop it there and correct you. I'm that type of person. Broke the motherfucking 5 likes. Give me some. What the fuck I'm talking about? Balling tonight. Balling tonight. We ain't eating leftovers. Gorilla, what's happening, man? Hey, you missed a hell of a stream, but you here now. We popping shit for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I was just letting the people know how I am with talking to motherfuckers. A lot of people don't have primary sources; they have secondary sources, and so I'm not the type of person to talk to because once you fuck up, absolutely, man, I do appreciate it. See, we family in here, so everyone who's in here is appreciated, and everybody who stops by later is fucking appreciated. And yeah, I mean that shit too. I mean that shit. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, motherfuckers like to say, like, you ever had a person talk to you and they try to tell you something? Like, for example, the sky is blue because the motherfucking ocean reflects on the waters and in the sky, and now we get the blue. And I'm like, all right, that's dope, right? That's dope. Okay, I'm not even disagreeing at this point. But can you break that down? Can you break that down for me? You can say that. That's dope. But can you break it down and show me? It's called show and prove. And that's something that was instilled in me when I started studying. You got to show and prove. So when people just randomly talk to me in the streets, I understand they're coming from probably a different perspective than me, outlook on me. But if they want to take it to a conversation and not just talk about bullshit, I'm hoping that you are able to speak. You're not dumb, right? Because I'm going to catch it. And eventually you're just going to get tired of me correcting you. Like today. And I'm not, listen, this is how it goes down. Motherfuckers were saying the wrong shit. I had to correct them. Nobody warranted it. Yeah, they just run their motherfucking mouths because it sound good. And if you could trick a motherfucker, then you dope. You cold. You got him. I don't want to do none of this shit. Yeah. Yep. There you go. And that's everything we just built on. Exactly. If you don't ask me about shit, I ain't gonna tell you about shit because you didn't warrant it. So if I just force it upon you, then I ain't shit. I could say all the right shit. Who asked you though? All right. So it's going in one and out the others. It, man, man. I was sitting and I'm just looking. At a point, I was just looking like you can't argue with a fool because you'll become a fool. Fuck that. Yep. Whatever you say. That's dope. Mm-hmm. You want my perspective? Do you really want it? Or you just want to tell me something? You want to tell me or you want to talk to me? Whatever you want to do, we could do. This is how I deal with you telling me something. Damn, I need a cigarette. But what we did today is how you talk to people. You can talk with people. Like, yo, holla at me. What you think about that? I want to hear that shit. Don't just, nigga, you're not going to trick me into believing shit in the first place because I know that belief means to put faith into something without proving it as factual. And knowing is to know that it's factual. And if you look at the root word of belief, you get the word belie. This is in any dictionary. If you get a physical dictionary, it'll be right there. The root word of belief is belie. And belie is to propagate, to trick, to connive, to persuade. Believers need beliers. You feel what I'm saying? So just knowing words and knowing power of vibration, power of wrong information. I'm really, I'm really specific on words I use and words I allow to be accepted into my ears and my mental processor. You feel me? I'm open to all conversations though. I'm open to all belief systems. My lady's aunt just asked me why I do. She see me on a lot of Muslim shit, and I don't do no religion. But the information I have on history, on etymology and things pertains to black folks. So I think she was trapped in the religious aspects of her ego and thought that she could reflect that on how how I handle shit. But I had to correct her like, no, fuck religion, personally. What I talk about is this. She's like, oh, okay, now I got it. I'm like, all right, cool. What'd you say? Right, this is what people do. I'm gonna tell you what people do. They hear some shit or they see some shit, right? This is what they do. Then they go to Google. That's all they do. And the first thing they see, they run with. And 9 times out of 10, if you go to Google right now and just look up what does dog, what is a dog, right? First thing you'll probably see, most likely, not factually, is Wikipedia. And then they run with Wikipedia. Not understanding that, nigga, I just changed that 20 hours ago. What are you talking about? Man, that's all I'm saying. So that's what people do. And then what they do after they Google it, they put no real work in. They read 2 articles, maybe 3 articles, maybe. Anybody can read that. Put in the work. Don't take one day. It take work. But what they do is they go to Google, see Wikipedia possibly, or read the first couple articles, run with that. Well, no, this said, this is where cross-referencing takes place. Fact checking. So in my video with language and the gods, I hope by now the family that does fuck with me understands that God isn't real. Gods are just principles and characteristics, if you will. God is a modern word in the first place. It's Germanic, I believe. Somebody made God up. Man made God. Let me say that. That's more correct. So, you know what I'm saying? They don't do no cross referencing, but my video dealing with the gods, I'm hoping people don't be like, damn, there's all these gods everywhere? For real? Like, no, not for real. Shit. Because that's how people are. But you have all these gods up here. No, chill out. Relax. Relax. Do you think in the future religion will be obsolete? I don't think religion will ever be obsolete. Because check this out. And this was something I didn't even go over this, but this is something I dialogued about years ago, like high school. Uh, Look at it like this: the government can tell you what to do, what to eat, when to eat, what to believe in by what they propagate and allow to happen, right? Isn't that religion? Tells you how to believe, what to believe, when to eat, all these things, what to eat, right? So the government is still religion. It's still religious. It's still a religious concept. So even if I say fuck all religion, fuck the government, and I'm going to believe in myself and only myself. I'm going to believe in myself. It's still a religion. It's still religion. Religion means to be bound, to bind, to be bound to the belief of my only self. That's ego still, but we're talking religion. I believe in myself only. I believe in this fucking camera. This fucking phone is my God now. Whatever it is, you're still putting your belief system and how to program yourself accordingly to this bound. You're bound to that belief. You understand what I'm saying? My words got tied shit. So I don't think religion will ever be obsolete. I think the concepts will change. That's it. And they are changing. Because I know a lot of people that don't fuck with churches and don't do the religion. And these people aren't bad people or good people in general. They're just people that just don't. Religion is dying in the concept of going to church every Sunday type shit. So I don't think religion will ever, ever go away. I just think it'll change. When people stop believing and start knowing, religion will be dead. But that won't happen. Yeah, Wikipedia is bullshit. I just put some shit up on there 20 hours ago. So see how that goes? I really didn't, but that's how Wikipedia works. So yeah, it's important to gain knowledge, but it's more important to understand and overstand and understand it. You feel what I'm saying? I can say all the right shit, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't want it to matter. You feel me? But yeah, family, I do appreciate y'all. I gotta, I gotta, go handle my fatherly duties. I got my son and my daughters waiting on me. My lady trying to handle some business. So I do appreciate y'all. Yeah, yeah. The three, once again, the three, the Trinity, the makeup of man, all that, and all that. The three, yep, yep, exactly. So with that being said, family, I do appreciate you guys. I hope, well, I know now that you appreciated it. So I'm happy with that. I did have another request, which I'll be doing on my next stream, which is let me see what it was. I wrote everything down. It was something. Oh, who's more destructive, animals or humans? That's gonna be my next stream. I could have did it this stream, but I knew I had shit to do. So my next stream will be who's more destructive, humans or animals, and we're gonna look at it from both perspectives. So it's easy to pick one now, but we're gonna get into it like we get into it. So I do appreciate you guys rocking with me. We hit that 5 like mark off rip. Yeah, the guns. Anyway, I do appreciate you once again. So peace when we're together, chaos when we're not. Pick up a book, gain some knowledge, spread some positivity. And if you're having a bad day, make it a good day.